you need to be present on the social media platforms because the algorithm is picking up on your activity and it's more likely to share your content when you are actively engaged. And then after you post, it says to stay actively engaged to posting and liking, and then you can kind of go off, kind of turn it into a.
Love that. The mic's working. Okay. I love that. Yes, it's definitely something we're going to touch on. Anyone else? Like, what else? What platforms do we use? Does everyone use so far?
Instagram.
Okay. So we're using Instagram. What else? Okay. Okay.
I use Nextdoor.
Oh, interesting. I'm curious about that. What is it?
It's just like a local app that you can sign into a different neighborhood. So I live in Pleasant Grove and there's a Murdoch neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And it links you up, it's like a local-based social media where you connect with a lot of people. It's a lot of contractors and business people in the area. A lot of like gardeners.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My cat, like that kind of thing.
That's cool. Okay. I've never heard of that one. So I was like, what is that? Tell me about that. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything before we dive in? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Courtney Nielsen. My husband and I do real estate together. We have the Nielsen Property Group. We had the branch out in Eagle Mountain. We're looking for a new space. Our lease was up, so we're trying to decide where we're going to go next. But right now we're temporarily here at the Westfield office. I've been doing real estate since 2012, and but more seriously since 2016. So prior to getting into real estate, I was a teacher. So I taught high school English, and though I loved that job and I loved working with the students, I wanted to make more money. And so I was like, okay, I have some options here. I can go and be an admin and like go in and be a principal or something like that, which I did end up getting my educational leadership degree, like a master's in it. And then just as I was, 2 years into the program, I decided to just quit teaching. And so then I still had to finish that because I'm like a finisher, because you never know when you're going to need it, right? So that's like plan C. But anyway, so I did that, and I jumped into real estate full time in 2016. And my husband at the time, well, prior to that, we owned our own construction company. We've owned a construction company since like 2004-ish. We used to travel and build churches all over the United States. And I was kind of in between that 2012 and 2016, I was doing it as a side hustle. So I was teaching, and then every once in a while I'd, help a friend or a family member or whoever. And I noticed that the market was shifting, and he was off working in Pennsylvania and then Texas. And I'm like, dude, come home. Like, let's just quit construction. This is crazy talk, you guys. Let's just quit it all. You come home and let's just do real estate. And so he did. He already was the call was already coming, he was feeling that call. And it was just like, I don't know, just the right timing for us. So he came home, we finished up those projects, came home, and he got into real estate and started working for a builder. So he went the builder route, and it just was a really good fit for him because he's also a builder, right? So he felt like he could really help people who were looking to buy and build a new home. And he had he did really well in that and was a top producer with them. And then 2019, he's like, let's just work together, which is like cool, but like also scary. It's hard working with your spouse. We have, good days, and some days it's like, well, we always take our separate vehicles because I cannot be trapped in a car with somebody else ever. That's me. I need to be an eagle. I need to fly free, high above everyone else. Don't tie me down, right? So we meet at work, and then we meet at home, and that seems to work for us. But along this journey, I started like, I don't know, I'm like one of those moms who liked being on Instagram and I liked being on Facebook and I liked being that. I'm like not a Gen Xer, but I'm not a millennial. I'm like somewhere in between that weird stage, you know, or that age group. But I just started posting on Instagram and Facebook, and I just started getting my name out there. And I will say through the years, most of my business I do with my sphere and past clients referrals. And I would say a lot of that comes because I am active on the socials. In the last year, I've been ramping that up and trying some different things. So for me, I run most of my business on Instagram. I have a podcast. I also use Facebook a lot, and I'm dipping my toes into adding different social platforms like LinkedIn and Pinterest. Pinterest scares me. I don't know anything about that. I was not one of those moms who got into the boards. I do not understand it at all. So I'm trying to learn this platform and how it works, still figuring that out. But there are some people who, if you are a Pinterest person, that might be a platform for you if you know how it works and how people, I don't know, I don't even know the words to use for Pinterest. I know boards. That's it. So LinkedIn is something like Ben, he uses a ton, and I've kind of like veered. I just like, ew, I don't really like the LinkedIn vibe. It's like not really me. But I realize that that's where business people are. That's where people who are, you know, I feel like that's an area that needs to be tapped into more. So if you are interested in the LinkedIn scene and you are already on LinkedIn and active on it, that would be a good place for you to start. So let's quickly jump through the what KW wants us to learn, and then we'll veer and I'll show you what I do. Okay. And hopefully you guys can take that into your wrist. So while we jump into this, tell me a little bit. I don't know everybody in the room, so quickly tell me your names. Tell me your name. D'Angelo. Trey. I know Sarah.
Alex.
Alex. Matt. Faith. Faye. Corbin. Grant. And how long have you guys been in business? In the real estate business? 1 month. 5. You've had closing or a couple? I saw that. That was amazing. Good job. I love this. I love this. Nice. Okay. Hey, it's time to go full time, right? I love it.
Zero in sales, I guess a month.
Okay. All right. You're like, we're going to do this. What have you been doing during the 3 years?
Commercial, I've been a consultant.
Oh, wait, I know you. What am I doing? I'm like, you look so familiar to me, and I just dawned on me. Duh. Hello. Yes, I know Matt. Matt helps us with CoStar. Yeah. So another aspect of ours is we do residential, but we also have been doing more commercial the last few years, and so that's where Ben's at right now, is getting that training. Additional training. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 10. Oh, wait, anyone else? Faye, a month, good. Corbin, awesome. And have you been at KW the whole time, or good for you? Okay, so we're going to talk about the 10-5-1 engagement, some other things about social media, do some ahas, all of that. Gary says it takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it. And boy, isn't that the truth, right? Especially, I don't know, for some, social media is like scary. We don't want to be seen. We just want to be secret agents for the rest of our lives, right? But let me tell you, putting your face out there, not being afraid, jumping in, like, it will come for you. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will come. Okay. The 10-5-1 engagement. So basically what this means is we are going to, this is a way for us to engage with our followers. And Sarah talked a little bit about the algorithm. Algorithm is like a mystery. The algorithm is always changing. Yeah. So the key is to be consistent but also to, like she said, to engage. So the different platforms all seem to have their own algorithms, but if you follow this consistent method, the 10-5-1, basically it's you're going to go on, and this is something I did before I even like really started to go all in with Instagram, is I would go on to my Facebook and I would so for me, I do the method where, and we call it something KW, I forget the name of it, but it's like the alphabet, and we like do a couple letters of the alphabet. What is that called? It's not, yeah, what? The D2, DT2, whatever. Yeah, see, I'm never gonna learn it. But basically, you take the alphabet and you divide it up, and you say like, this week I'm going to focus on letters A and B, right? Next week, C and D or whatever. So what I do is I do that in my friends list. I go down my friends list and I pick 10 people a day within those letters. And I go and like their posts and I comment on them and I share, so that, because what happens is, right, you guys have noticed this when you're on social media, that you only see like the same 10 people every day, right? And that means if I'm only seeing 10 people, that means my friends are only seeing 10 people, right? And more than likely, they're not seeing me, especially if we're not interacting and engaging with one another. So I try to just trick the algorithm to think that I'm interacting with more people. And so that's why I go through my friends list and I just start at A and I just keep going through until I recycle back through. So in that way, I'm just trying to interact with those people that week. That way, everything that I'm posting that week is showing up on their boards. So at some point in the quarter, all of my friends are going to see something from me. Okay, so if that's all you do, start there. And I know some of you, especially the younger generation, you have a bajillion friends on your socials, and utilize that. I know not everybody might not be buying a house right now, but someday they will. And they'll remember that you're the agent that they want to. The key is to be top of mind with your sphere, right? To be top of mind in your social platforms. Okay, so you're going to go on, you're going to like at least 10. You're going to make at least 5 comments, and oops. Oh, geez. And share at least 1. So I do this I take it off the socials, and I do this in another way too. I do this by I reach out to my contacts in my phone the same way. So I think being like super salesy is gross. So I try to just like reach out to people in my context as like, I'm just being a friend, like, how are you? Like, haven't talked to you in a while kind of thing. So I'll go through my phones every day and I'll just pick 10 people. And again, it's like, who did I talk to yesterday? I'm going to talk to the 10 next people in my contacts list. And I just say, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. What's up? And we just have a conversation. If it doesn't come to real estate at all, that's okay. They know who I am. They know that I do real estate, right? But what happens usually, they ask me, what's up with you? How's business? How's the market? And then it kind of turns to real estate. One year, this was, I want to say probably like 2017-ish. I don't know. I was at a different brokerage at that time. And our broker in one of our trainings, she said, whatever you do right now, and it was like the end of September. So right now, September, October, whatever you do right now is going to determine what kind of Christmas you're going to have. And I was like, okay. So I literally went through my phone contacts and I just started texting people, hey, how are you? La, da, da. And you guys, I ended up getting like 3 or 4 sales for the end of quarter simply from doing that. So it works. Not all the time are you going to get a sale like immediately, right? But the key is like, as a real estate agent, your job is to be the best friend you can possibly be to everyone you ever meet. Doesn't mean everybody's gonna be your bestie, but hey, we want to just show that we care about people because we do. We genuinely do. That's why we're in this business, right? Right? All right. Okay. Any ahas with just doing those basic things? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't understand that algorithm. So knowing the algorithm that I need to engage with others for them to see my stuff so that if I post something on my page or business page,
Yes.
it actually shows up on their feed and it won't if I ignore them.
Yeah, especially on Facebook, but also Instagram. I don't really know how TikTok works, but definitely those two, and those are the two most popular, right? That people use. I'm guessing it's the same on LinkedIn too. Ben like engages and comments on people's stuff all the time, and then stuff comes up for him. But yes, I love it. Okay. All right. So posting practices. This is where we can get into, should I have a business profile? Should I have a personal profile? Do I have both? If I have another business, do I do that? Do I do that? All right. So that's so nuanced and kind of personal preference. But I will say having a business account does unlock features in all of the platforms that you wouldn't otherwise have using your personal one. On my Facebook, I actually do have two accounts on Instagram and Facebook. My personal one, I don't really get onto much on Instagram, and it is private. And that's just like if I want to post like things that's like me to who I want to like print my scrapbook, for my family. That's not really where I'm engaging. I'm engaging on my business platform, and I do have it set up so that I can have full access to the music, and so that you can track on the professional dashboard what what posts you're posting, what people are liking, what's the engagement on it, how many people are seeing it, what are the views, all this stuff. So you can track all that stuff on the business dashboard on Instagram. On Facebook, I mostly engage using my personal one. I only use my business one for ads, because you have to have a business account in order to do paid ads. So on my Facebook, but I have my Facebook personal linked to my Instagram business. Does that make sense? So when I post on my Instagram business one, it'll automatically like post on my personal. So the key is 80% personal. So on my, okay, if we're talking about Instagram, on my grid is mostly like my business stuff, but in my stories is everything I mostly post and talk about in my stories is like personal, right? Like I'm very active in the stories. You want to be active in the stories. It is scary, I know, and when I first got started, I'd want to like delete my videos and start over and do it like 20 times. Now I just like do it and just like, whatever, walk away, go, I'm not going to go back. Just let it go. Be Elsa in that moment. All right. So we are going to talk about the pillars. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so there's a thing called content pillars, and I use this on Instagram. So you want to have like, I don't know, however many content pillars you want. They say 5. There's different social media trainers who do this. I think Jenna Kutcher's one, and she calls it the J something 5. I don't know. But basically, you're going to have some content pillars. And for me, I mean, it's easy in real estate. Just think, okay, like for me, I have podcasts is one, right, of my content pillars. And I use that. I actually do 2 posts a week with content from my podcast. So Thursday is always like something from my new episode, because I release episodes on Thursday. So on Thursday, you're always going to see a little teaser from my Thursday episode. The following Tuesday, I'm going to post another clip from that, just to get people to circle back and go listen to the podcast. Now, I do the podcast. You do not have to do a podcast. I do this because it's a way for me to come up with content. And I am a talker, and doing short bits is really hard. So I might as well just do a 30-minute episode. And then within my program, there's like it has the ability where like AI goes through and it picks out like 4 or 5 pieces from the video that are probably the most important. The AI views is the most important, but they always like, they're good. And I just go with it, right? Okay, so that's why I do that. We do have upstairs on the 2nd floor. We do have 2 different rooms that are set up for media. So one is set up as a podcast room. The one next door to that is set up. There's cameras and stuff in there where you can do short form content. So you can get in there and use that stuff. You just have to make an appointment or schedule it with Hunter or the front desk or something. But Hunter can show you how it all works. So you might have like buyers, sellers. I'm also a broker, so sometimes we have like, I have like training, teaching stuff, right? And then on this Friday, I might have something funny or I don't know, personal, home related, kind of just like more of like influencer type thingies is usually kind of how I do it. So you can decide what's yours. I love what Sarah's doing. Sarah loves to hike. And so she's doing a lot of things about her, kind of like influencing in the hiking way, but now they're viewing her, oh, she's a hiker, but she's also a realtor. You know, so people are getting to know Sarah as this amazing hiker. She just hiked Timp solo. Like, whoa, that's hard. And scary. Was that scary?
I mean, I've done it quite a few
Okay.
times, and this is just my first time. I was going for time,
Okay.
and that's why I did it solo, because
Okay.
I PR'd.
Mhm.
I did
Yeah, I
it
saw that.
fast.
Mhm.
It's scary for sure. You get
Yeah.
out there and you feel like you will literally blow off the mountain because the wind is crazy and it's crazy steep. I mean, if you're not a, yeah, you need to.
And
gotta
all the
really
things like
prepare.
the night before when you're showing me, like no, I felt like you were showing me, showing us, you're showing the world, like how you had prepped and planned for it, right? It was like inner stories. And she was like, oh, you're gonna have, or no, actually you did a video, right? And she's like, showed all the things that she was prepared for. And I was like, okay, that's like hardcore. That's serious. But it was pretty helpful too. So anybody who is like, oh, I'm thinking about hiking Timp, and maybe they relate to Sarah on that level too. They're like, oh, we have something in common. I like to hike too. I probably would like Sarah. I want to get to know Sarah more. And I want her to help me buy a house. That's kind of really, this is what social media is to help people get to know you. Because people are going to work with you, like you, trust you, and know you, right?
Feel about a spouse and linking to their stuff or them linking to your stuff to help with content, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
naturally not in that mindset.
Yeah.
She does a really good job documenting everything we're doing and then
Yeah.
getting it out there.
I mean, if she's willing to help share you, I mean, it's always easier when somebody else is talking about how amazing you are than you having to talk about how amazing you are, right? I think that's great. I do think it's important. I definitely am more active on social media than my husband.
Yeah.
Like you can't outsource the whole thing. You do have to show your presence and be there, because ultimately, no matter how awesome people say you are, like you still have to show up and be that personality, be the people, be, you know, that's another thing. On your stories, you are talking, think about you're talking to one person, not everybody. So it's not, hey, everyone, it's, hey, how are you doing? You know, because people, when they're on their phone looking in their stories, you're talking to them, right? So, and they, you know, they're usually alone, maybe, or I don't know, they're chilling on their couch or in their bed, surfing and scrolling, right? And so you're talking directly to them. So think about that when you make your, and I mess up on that a lot. And then the next time, I don't worry about it. I just go, oh, the next time, remember, I'm talking to one person. I'm talking to my best friend. That's even easier, right? Okay, so content pillars. So I mostly post Monday through Friday now. Weekends, I don't really post that much, but that's just my consistent schedule. For you, if it's like I can only handle posting one time a week, then post one time a week. Whatever you can handle, that's what you need to do, and you just need to be consistent about it. So consistency is key. Okay, although they do say that posting every day will increase your engagement. And okay, so I just got this email a few months ago. We had one of my friends who's a trainer here. Her name is Darcy Benicosa, and she said, did you know that businesses that post daily on Instagram see up to 33% increase in engagement? Consistent posting can significantly boost your visibility and attract the luxury clients you've always dreamed of working with. Showing up for every day for 30 days might seem daunting, especially if you feel like Monica from Friends on the dance floor when it comes to social media. Monica can't dance. But what if I told you, okay, so now she talks about like coming up with the plan. So consistency is one key. This is one aspect, but the other aspect is having a plan. Like you can't show up without a plan, right? Well, I guess you could, but it'd just be like all over the place. So coming up with what days am I going to post? What's my plan? Use your content pillars to come up with that plan. Somebody else talked about hashtags. Okay. On one training or podcast that I listened to was different social media planners. They talked about hashtag banks. Okay. So for each one of your pillars, you want to go and find, well, actually you need several options for them because the algorithm will pick up if you're using the same hashtag every time. It will actually like block you. It wants you to interact in different ways, right? Well, I don't know that it blocks you, but it hinders you in some way. Okay, so having, I don't know, 3 or 4 different hashtag banks for each one of your pillars. And within those hashtag banks, you probably want, I usually do around like 10 or so. You can do, I think, up to like 20. Sometimes the person who's helping me with my social media, she'll only do like 3, and I'm always have to like go back and I add more. It's fine. So anyway, hashtag banks are key. Now, something that you could do is just like in your notes on your phone, just create those banks and then just go copy and paste them. So then you don't have to like find them every time you do a post, right? Another thing, how you find those hashtag banks is you want to think about like your reach. So I like to be as specific to Utah as possible because we work here in Utah. So I want anything with Utah to pop up, right? But then you want, and those Utah, like if you look on 1,000 people